Hello everyone, I'm Walls P, and welcome to Matter of Opinion. Today's topic, we're talking double standards between men and women. Now once again, we had a subscriber made a request that wanted to speak about this topic, and once again, we answered the call. But this time around, she was willing to come on the show to discuss the topic. So today, we have a guest. So sit back and enjoy this ride with us. Hello everyone, welcome to Matter of Opinion. I'm Walls P. Today we're doing a topic on double standard between men and women. We have Ray right here. Everybody knows Ray.
Ray the Dawn's
and we have a special guest.
Nicole.
Alright, so let's start off this debate with why do you feel there's such a double standard between men and women?
I feel this double standard because I feel that there's certain things that men do that females can't do, like cheating wise. Men could cheat. Yeah, dog, you the dog. Yeah, you the don.
You use a condom?
No.
Good! That's my boy, yo!
Females cheat. She's a whore. She's a hoe. She's a slut.
Right! Everyone already knows I'm a ghetto-ass, sucking, stripping hoe, right?
She's too easy. She gives her cookie to anybody all the time.
Well, I mean, I kind of have to disagree with that because nowadays we have equal footing. So, you know what it is though? It's mostly just because of certain media views that people would say that. But on a normal basis, if a female wants to go sleep with another man, she's free to do so and without judgment. I mean, that's honestly a lot of people. You'd be surprised how many people out in the world will actually think like that.
Really, because I've had conversations with multiple men and they're like, no, that's not true, that females are built differently and females are more sacred, they should hold their body a certain way. Okay, fine, but yet still the same thing that you guys do, why can't we do it? And if we do the same thing, why can't men be as forgiving as females?
Women can be forgiven. There's a perfect example, Will Smith and his wife.
But that's a marriage too.
That's a marriage too. So you see, he forgave her. You get what I'm saying? And they're still friends.
I will say though, since it's a marriage, that's kind of different.
Sticky,
so to speak,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Relationship wise.
Yeah. Okay. Then let me throw this one out to you. So then, say for instance, right? You and I are dating. You go get a girl pregnant, right? It's stereotypically okay for me to say, oh, you know what? It's all right. I'll look over it, Ray. I'll take you back, right? But let me go out there and get pregnant by somebody else. Oh, no, we can't be together. No, we can't do this. We can't do that. We can't work on anything. Because you know why? The fact is, I'm pregnant with somebody else's baby. You can't see beyond that fact.
Well, that depends on the person, honestly. Honestly, I have to say a lot of people might think like that simply in the moment. But when they sit down and realize who the person you are, you know, they might forgive you and change your mind. It depends on the person you're with, actually.
So, how would you take it?
Yeah.
Me personally, you know, that's a lot to swallow. I would need a sip of this root beer, and then me and you would have a long discussion, and then, you know, if I feel as though that I still am in love with you as a person, then yeah, I'm gonna stick with you. I'm gonna forgive you. But you won't have to earn back my trust.
So here's a question. If you did her wrong, would you feel that she needs to forgive you? Like, off the bat?
Not off the bat, no. I feel as though that I would still have to show her that I'm sorry and all of that. Because that's just the humane thing to do. Especially in a relationship. Now, do I feel like, for example, if I did her wrong and then she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna even it out and you go out and do me wrong, and we even, do I feel like I should be mad at that? Nah, that's what you get. It's give and take.
Okay. All right.
See, me on the situation, like if I see them doing them or whatever the case may be, I'm the type of person, I'm like, I'm not a jealous person, so to speak. So I'm like, all right, that's your flavor, cool. I'm not really gonna hold it against you like that or whatever, but you know, it's gonna stay in the back of my mind or whatever. Now, if it gets to a relationship and something like that happens, For me, it depends on the situation. Now, I can go through the process of forgiving, and when we go through the process of forgiving, next go around, it's like, all right, we're gonna need to speak about what steps need to be taken, whatever, so that this doesn't happen again. For instance, if it's something like on your phone, you texting XYZ, whatever, then if I need access to your phone at any given time, if we're gonna rebuild this, then I get access to your phone. Same thing, if I'm the one who, and we do it, then it's like, yo. But as far as like for me, a double standard when it comes to cheating and stuff like that, then for me it's equal playing field. It's equal playing field.
Okay. So for instance, right, like I threw that example out there, like if me and Ray was together, if I said to Ray, like, I need you to reassure me about how you feel about me, and I need answers on why it happened, when it happened, where it happened, how many times it happened, do you feel that he owes me that answer?
Now that's a good question. Now, do I feel I should answer all those questions in the same moment that you're asking them? I don't know. 'Cause see, some of y'all women, let me correct myself, some of y'all women, do y'all have y'all crazy tendencies where y'all will listen to the answer, y'all get upset, run to the kitchen, grab the first thing you can get hold of, and start swinging and then ask questions later. So, I'm not going to take that, that chance of being killed, but I do owe you those answers.
Okay, because I've known a situation where somebody's asked their partner, okay, I want to know when, why, how many times, where it happened, all those questions, and the partner's like, well, we're done with it. Like, we spoke about it, we're done. That's it. Like
the dude said that?
Yeah, that we're done.
Okay.
Don't want to talk about it no more. But if it was the other way around and the female was the one who cheated, the guy wants to know the answers and want to know it right then and there and keep asking and wants to the reassurance.
So y'all, you guys have to get two things correct, okay? Us guys are separated into two categories. You got the guys that are trying to do good, then you got the hoes, okay? He's a hoe. We're gonna put it straight out the bat. He's a hoe, okay? If he refused to talk about the situation even after she forgave him and still wants to be with him, that's a hoe. That's not somebody worth keeping. Honestly.
True.
That's same way, vice versa. If I forgave you and I was like, yo, I need to know what A, Z, and X was going on, and you still refuse, you're a hoe. I don't want you.
Now, me, if we speak on the matter and we decide we're going to bury the hatchet and everything like that, I'm the type of person, I'm not going to want to know how many times and all of that stuff, because for me, that's just adding gas on the fire. I can see. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, the most I would say is like, how long has it started? Now, if the shoe's on the other foot and you want to know details or whatever, then I'm going to tell you details. But at the same time, be careful what you wish for. Because like I said, that's just pouring more gas on the fire. The point of forgiving is, we spoke about it. We took the steps to know going forward how to prevent it, and that should be that.
So, but answer me this.
That's the way I look at it.
Answer me this though. Why do you when women get caught in general, right? Cheating. Why do you guys feel the need to not tell the whole truth? Yeah, you guys will tell half truths about things. Like, I have a friend. Not gonna name his name because he's very famous on the show right now. But he had a girl that he was dating, and she was cheating and everything, and he forgave her. They went to counseling and everything, and still at the end of the day, she didn't tell him the whole truth of like what she was doing, and he had to find out from other people, outside sources, like X, Y, and Z was here with X, Y, and Z. You get what I'm saying? So why do you guys feel the need not to tell the whole truth when we just want to hear it the one time and then bury it?
Well, I'm going to speak for myself. I feel like at the time it's going to hurt the male ego, because most of the times when men ask certain questions, they want to know what you did, how you did they have your leg up in the air, did they have you all different type of positions and pretzels and stuff like that. And if you're not doing it and they're doing it, it's going to be a bruise to the male ego. So, of course, they're going to tell you what you want to hear, but only a smidge bit of it. The rest of the details doesn't need to be known.
Right. But see, that's the way you guys think. But personally, I think for us men, we want to hear it so we know where we went wrong in the relationship. Because that's something that we want to, if we like you enough or love you enough and we want to stay with you, we want to know, like, okay, what did he do that I didn't do that made you go to him? Like, Did he handcuff you to the bed? 50 Shades of Grey whip you? You know what I'm saying? Like those are things, you know, and that's why we ask for the whole truth, so we know what happened. But you guys give us half truths sometimes.
Because if you don't have the whole truth, then how can you 100% heal and move on from it?
Right.
True.
You know?
Right.
Now, here's a question on the topic of double standard or whatever. You have a son and a daughter. Do you feel that you pose a double standard of rules as far as like, my son can stay out longer than my daughter, you know, things like that? Like, do you feel you would set double standards for stuff like that as far as between men and women?
I think in general you try not to, but it ends up happening. Reason being, like they always say, the girls bring the babies home, the guys don't. Even though they have another girl that may be pregnant and that girl has to go home to her parents, but essentially yes. And also boys are able to hold their own better out in the streets than females.
I mean, honestly, I can't actually argue with that, because it happens. Like even as a parent, you know, you have a daughter, your first instinct is, oh no, she's not going outside, not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's more so just the parental instinct that keeps you wanting to protect the girl more than the boy. Because the boy, you're gonna teach him how to fight. You're gonna teach him how to be a man at the end of the day. Whereas the girl, as a man, you can't really teach her much, but what to look out for, what signs and stuff. Yeah.
See, me speaking from experience, I know off the bat I'm gonna have a double standard. And the reason why I said I'm gonna have a double standard, let's just ask this one simple question. Who do you think is more safer coming in the house 3 a.m? Your son or your daughter?
Daughter.
The daughter is safer coming in the house 3 a.m?
Actually no, son, because you'll be more worried about the son coming home safer than the daughter. That's true. I think the son.
See, me personally, I think the son would come home safer because predators more so attack women. As opposed to, like, if you see a bum on the street or whatever, and he sees a girl walking down the street, he's more likely to attack and follow her than a boy. That's just my opinion.
I see where you.
That's just my opinion.
I see where you're coming from, but I still say, you know, it's an equal opportunity actually, because you know you have crazies out here that would attack you just cause you have some brand new Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, and that's sad that we, you know, you want to hurt somebody for some shoes that you will outgrow in the next year.
Yep. And then also to piggyback off what you said too, I believe if a male go to the cops and say, oh, this happened to me, they'll be quicker to help a female than a male can be like, oh, you're a man.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
You should be able to do certain things, but at the same time, I'm still like, they're still human at the end of the day.
Exactly. And what people fail to realize is that men, we you know, we're supposed to be tough and stuff, but men get raped too. Men get raped too.
They have the highest rate.
The highest rate of rape is men. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking prison. For all you homies that just got out, I'm not talking prison.
Definitely not. Walking down the street, females rape men. Females rape men.
They sure do.
On talking on double standard for men. Which I'm piggybacking off what you said. Why is it a double standard that men has to be tough and can't show like they're soft or whatever, you know, soft, and only women can be, you know, soft, but women can also be hard too because you don't understand, you know, a strong black woman or whatever. So you can show 2 different shades, but for men, you're only supposed to technically show 1 shade.
I would say because it's how society puts them out there. All going up to society.
Okay.
Society makes it seem like men are supposed to be the provider, they're supposed to be the protector, they're supposed to be strong, they're supposed to be able to carry everything, which I essentially think is wrong, because at the end of the day, you're doing all this to men and you're doing a disservice to them as they get older, and they're not able to express their feelings, they're not able to have a good communicative conversation with somebody because they're suppressing all these emotions that they're told to suppress. They're told to, oh, don't cry. You're a boy, you're a man, don't cry. men don't cry and stuff like. No, that's an emotion. If you want to cry, cry.
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What type of men do you mainly date? Is it alpha male or beta male?
Oh Lord, I would say an alpha male, because yes, I do like strong men, but behind closed doors, I want you to be vulnerable to me. Show your emotions to me. If I ask you, how is your day? Don't tell me, oh, it's okay. If anything bothers you, well, nothing's bothering me. But then weeks down the line, oh, you know, this was bothering me. I asked you if it was bothering you. You should have said it right then and there so we can address right then and there. Don't wait 6, 4, 5 months down the line and you tell me, oh, this was bothering me. Come on now.
Yeah.
So like that's the kind of men I like. Somebody that's strong out on the outside, but behind closed doors, okay, be vulnerable to me. Cry to me. You know.
You hear that, fella? She wants you to lay on her titty and cry.
Of course.
Cry your soul out to her.
All right.
But like, you know, that is that balance. Because if I'm supposed to be vulnerable to you and I'm supposed to come to you, tears in my eyes, crying to you, why can't you do it to me?
That's true.
It goes both ways.
So what is your take on the matter?
Personally, I think that's a fair point. I think grown men cry, okay?
But do you feel men should be sensitive, or should they be?
Of course. Because if we didn't have sensitivity, we would be monsters. We'd be complete savages. We wouldn't care about who we was with. We'd just be complete savages, sleeping around, basically hoes with no conscience. So you can't expect just because you're just a female and you only you can have feelings and stuff. No, men have feelings too. And then when we get attached to you, and then y'all, you know, that's when it gets real entangled, like right there. It's like when we have that what's the word I'm looking for?
Emotional connection or connection?
Not even emotional connection, just that deep amount of love, like that deep sea love for you.
That in love. Right. That's when you get the most out of our emotions. Like when you get us upset, we really get upset. You know, when you make us mad, sad, whatever, all that other stuff. So it's like, you know, you have to consider a man's feelings when you're with him, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of y'all are just with us for stuff, and just for the moment, and you know, just for the excitement and stuff. While, you know, some of you guys are there for the actual love and stuff. So you have to consider what you're doing to the guy as well. The guy should consider what he's doing to you, because both parties can be mutually attached and fall in love with each other. But at the end of the day, it's you know, personal decision. But yeah, the double standard laws in America is sad. Very sad. Very. First of all, I'm not gonna say your name. I was gonna say your name, but I'm not gonna say your name. But you know who you are, light skinned brother. So I had a light skinned friend who let's just say he had a girl. Well, he was forced into the relationship with the girl because they had sex he got drunk, they met up, they had sex, whatever. You know, normal adult people stuff. And she got pregnant?
No, she's not pregnant.
Okay.
But she's crazy because she comes just to rape this guy, just to have sex with him. And he's went to the police, and the police are I'm not gonna blame the entire police force, but a lot of y'all are dicks. So he went to the first time he went to the station, right? The cop is like, oh, you want to file a sexual harassment report? He was like, yeah, this girl keeps coming, you know, and you know, every time she forces me to have sex with her and stuff. And the guy's like, well, you should enjoy it, man. Just go home.
Wow.
What?
They're probably abducting black people, brainwashing them, and making them slaves, or sex slaves, not just regular slaves.
And don't ever say that I don't do nothing for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cop told him straight, go home and enjoy it.
But then if it was a female, they would
right.
They would do the rape kit and everything like that.
Right. So the second time he went back, right? The second time he went back was a different cop. I think it was an officer Daniels or something like that. So that cop was a lot more helpful, but he was still a dick because he was like, well, listen, I understand what you're saying, but you still need to produce physical evidence. Like there has to be bruises and scuff marks on you before I can even press a harassment or rape charge.
But what about restraining order?
Yeah, he's got that. He's got that, but she doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
Oh.
Yeah, she doesn't care. And then even with the restraining order, they have to catch her on the premises.
And they don't catch her.
They don't catch her.
So what you're telling me is with women, it's a different story.
It's a different story because if this was a guy that was doing all of this,
he would have been in jail a long time ago.
He'd have been in jail on the first report. You get what I'm saying? It's a double standard with these laws. The laws are made specifically just for females, but if a man tries to use these laws, it just doesn't work out for him. He either gets laughed at, because that first cop definitely laughed.
But see, that goes into double standard where it's like men are supposed to be masculine and tough.
Right. Right. And I you know, that's just, I think that's messed up. I think that's messed up. Cause it's not a nice thing when you're getting raped. I'm telling you, it's not.
Depends on how you're looking at you're looking at the situation.
Yeah. I mean, just in general for either female or male. Like, especially if it's not somebody that you want to be with and you're forced into it. Like, that's a terrible thing to happen to you.
You know what's crazy? I had a conversation with a friend one time, and she told me that she was raped, but in the process of being raped, it felt good. Like, can that actually? That has to be a rare thing.
Actually, no, it's not. It's actually there's a term for it.
Have you ever heard that happen with anybody before? Or?
I've never heard that before.
When you it's the
but
same.
It can be like equal opposite pressure, maybe.
It's the same term as when you're being held by a captive and then you fall in love with the captive. What is it called again? I forget.
That I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's basically the same concept. Like whoever's raping you or whatever, you end up falling in love with the person. Because I know somebody who ended up being with the person that they had sex with, and they actually together and happy.
What is your perspective on that? You're like, because your face expression, like, what is your take on that?
Let me break it down. It's not really. It wasn't.
Yes, please break it down, please.
It wasn't like. It wasn't like a forced rape. They were drunk, but she was. I guess she was still saying no, but she was still saying yes at the same time.
So she's still getting pleasure from it, but she's still saying no.
Right. Exactly how you described it.
How does that process in your mind as a woman? How does that process in your mind? Because to me, like, I was just like,
I have no words.
See, you have
it sounds confusing because it's like you're saying no, but yet still you're getting the pleasure. So that means you kind of wanted it, but you kind of didn't.
See?
But it's like
she's saying no. She was saying no.
Like she's saying no, but her body's saying yes.
Okay.
Right, but she's grabbing him and pushing him, like, you know what I'm saying? From what they've told me.
So it's like a pleasure thing, like off a pleasure.
Here's the thing: for a guy, like for women, I'm assuming it's different. Because for a guy, you cannot be interested in a girl. You could find her unattractive, but the slightest will make
turn you on. Yeah.
And yes, you could be like, yo, I don't want to smash with her, but she hops on top, like you're just enjoying it, So that's why I'm like, for women, I know, like, I'm assuming it's different. Where it's like if it's unwanted, So that's why for me, I never understood that process, but
yeah, like, cause that for me too. Like I'm still trying to process it because for most women, I'm not gonna say all, most women, when it comes to sex, it's more of an emotional connection. Like, even if you go out there and cheat, most women is like an emotional thing. Like, oh, we connect on certain levels and things that's what it is. But just to go out there and just to cheat, there's a reason. Like for most women, there's always a reason why to them cheating.
You know what I've come to understand from what they've told me. They both are some freaks. That's all. She gets pleasure from being assaulted, and he gets pleasure from her enjoying it. So
you could be a freak and still go out there and cheat and stuff like that because that emotional attachment.
So here's the thing. That rule can apply to some men too.
True.
As far as, because I'm putting myself on blast. I had a situation where basically a reconnection, whatever. Somebody I used to be with, whatever. And we had a reconnection, whatever. You know, yo, we gonna get this room. We gonna do whatever. We popping mad crap back and forth. Then when it came down to it, like, I just didn't have that emotional connection. Little man just wouldn't stand up for nothing. Like, we tried every pop. Mentally, I just wasn't into her. So it just didn't happen.
Maybe the level of respect you probably have for her too. That could be it.
Yeah, because I respect her like crazy or whatever. In my mind, I was just like, yo, like, I don't know, like it just felt off.
Because even though, like you said, y'all were popping back and forth, like, oh, I'm gonna do this to you, I'm gonna do that to you. It could be just that, like I said, level of respect, and because you know how you feel for her or felt for her at the time and stuff like that, it's like, I can't do this because you know what? It's gonna feel like I'm treating like a piece of meat. Right. Some men don't equate it with emotional connection. Some men just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get it from her. That's it.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, for me personally, I can't have sex with you unless I have an emotional connection with you. That's just it. That's just facts.
Beta male. No, I'm messing. I'm messing.
But you know the funny thing, some men don't care. Some men like, oh, if she gives me, she gives me. Some men don't care about emotional connection.
You have that moment where you in the heat of things and you have that weakness. I'm not gonna lie, I've been there.
Yeah, everybody. I'm pretty sure women have that.
Yeah.
You know.
Of course.
Yeah. So
to me, double standard works in favor for women at times, and it works in favor for men at times. For instance, like me, this is my personal belief. Law enforcement, for instance, right? I believe in the front lines, women shouldn't work in the front lines. And the reason why I say that is because, like, for instance, they had a video where a man in a wheelchair was stuck, like, on a train track, right? And a woman cop saw him, and, you know, ran because the train was coming. She ran over to him, whatever. I'm gonna try and get you out. Trying to, you know, move him. She eventually wound up, like, pushing him to the side, but one of his legs was like still on the track, and he had to get it amputated. My opinion, if it was a male counterpart, he would have probably got him off the track, and there wouldn't have been no amputation done.
I kind of have to disagree with you with that, because I've seen some female cops lift some big dudes before, and there's actually a cop that is in Irvington.
Okay.
And they call a super cop because.
But listen to this though. Do you realize that women who are in the front lines, like in the military, right? Those that go through the rigorous training that the men do, they wind up being 3 times more infertile than those that don't do that heavy. You get what I'm saying? So women are at a 17% of infertility. And when they go through all that training or whatever, it makes it 3 times more.
Right.
Because you're basically going through that rigorous training on your body.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But how do you feel about that?
I mean, before you even talk, I don't mean to cut you off, but you have to also look at the standard of what's happening, like, for especially when policing. Most cases of people getting killed accidentally or stuff are happening with male cops more than female cops. So you have to look at that graph right there.
All right, so let me ask you this: the George Floyd situation, right?
Right.
How tall, big, strong black guy, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he was on drugs.
Right.
So if that was a woman cop who was trying to apprehend him and calm him down, whatever, what do you think she would have had to ultimately result to put that man down?
She would also have to result to calling him back up, honestly, because you have to look at the size of him, and then plus he's on drugs. You know what I'm saying? But
my question is, in today's society where, like, with police brutality and stuff that's going on, you have a couple of other officers there, and let's just say they're all women or whatever, which you technically have backup. Do you really think with the having, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you have that godlike, that authority type mentality where it's like, I'm above you. Do you really think you're gonna like really look at calling backup, yada yada, to try and de-escalate? Because the track record, not to say all police are bad, but the track record is showing for black people, like when police are in interact with black folks, they look at it as I'm above you type situation.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but a lot of there was actually a situation that I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of situations have been de-escalated by female cops. So in that case with George Floyd, I would say, I can't really speculate, but I would say a female cop would likely have been more to calm him down more than a male cop. Because you as a male, even if you're on drugs, and your female is talking to you, you're going to look to be more conversational with a female regardless of your situation, more than talking to a dude. You get what I'm saying?
And then also a female's voice, like
it's more
soothing.
It's more soothing and calm.
Yeah, because like you said, that you brought the point that George Floyd was on drugs. Mm-hmm. Him talking to a male is gonna escalate even more because the male voice is gonna counteract his voice, like and go back and forth. Which a female be like, okay, calm down. Like she used force behind it, but it's just a sound that she may use and may remind of a mother, sister, or something like that, and it just brings him down. And like Ray said, de-escalate the whole situation between him and the female cop.
So then my question is, why is it women in an abusive relationship, whatever, don't like it when the guy go out and drinking? Because by both of you guys' logic, if he's intoxicated, whatever, her soothing voice should calm him down where he doesn't abuse the woman. That's basically what I'm taking by your logic.
I understand that, but you have to understand, okay, yes, alcohol is a substance that can put you under the influence and stuff, but that's not, alcohol gets you drunk, but who you are as a person is who you are as a person. So regardless if that person had been drunk or not, they're still abusive by nature.
Yep.
But isn't that the same rule with with a lot of drugs, period?
Not necessarily. Some drugs, they just, they give you hallucinations. Some drugs, it depends. But overall, for that situation, that person, that male, has been abusive from go. And the female chose to stick around and try to see if she can change him. Mm-hmm. Because it's no way that, there haven't been signs of abuse. Yep,
the signs are written all over the wall. Just by maybe the first argument, and he shakes her something like there's signs, like Ray said. And then the female choose not to look at the signs.
There's always signs. And then I guarantee 9 times out of 10, she has suffered abuse before he even drank with her or around her, or he came home drunk before. I guarantee she suffered some type of abuse from him before.
And if it's even not from him, maybe it's a cycle or a pattern she's seen. Because some females probably grew up in an abusive household and seen that things is okay. Because certain things are learned, and certain things, it's just a cycle that they can't break.
So my question to you is, do you feel that women should go through the same vigorous tests and stuff like this, as far as physical activity, that a man should?
I think to an extent, especially if you want to go in a male-dominated industry. I think you should, especially if you want to be treated as an equal, especially if you want to be viewed as an equal in a male-dominated industry. Like, for instance, you bought the police department. I'm not saying females can't be good police officers, but it's mainly male-dominated. So if you want to be respected, you gotta do the same things. Just like in the military, if you want to be respected as equal in the military, you gotta do the same things. Yes, you're gonna get a little special treatment because you're a female, but I think you should hold your own to an extent.
I get what you're saying. I don't know. For me, I just feel it's not right to put I understand equality and everything like that, But I don't know. I just feel it's not right to put women through the same like type of standardized testing as a man would do, because the body chemistry is different.
Yeah, of course it's different.
So that's why I'm like, and I'm not saying it as a knock on women. I'm just saying like, yo, it's not fair, because you know, anatomy wise, like you shouldn't
do certain things.
You shouldn't do certain things like that. So that's why I'm like, you know, it's.
But then at the same time, I get what you're saying. But at the same time, she knows what she's getting herself into. She ain't going there blind. She ain't going there blindsided.
Yeah.
Anything like that. So she knows what she's getting herself into. If she can't do it, don't try. I'm not saying I'm not against females doing anything men can't do, because I'll do the same thing.
Of course. You guys know what you signed up for, and that's why you guys, even when you guys go through training, you guys get tougher training compared to what men get, just because they know you're women, they're females. The Army trains you a lot harder, the Navy trains you a lot harder, Air Force trains you a lot harder. And just because you were a woman and you go into the Defense Forces of the U.S. or even as a cop, the training you receive, you're going to be looking at it like, oh wait, why is he not doing what I'm doing? But it's because you're a woman, they train you a lot harder.
Do you feel that's right though? I feel that's right. That's my question.
I believe it's not right, but at the same time, it's also a precaution just to ensure that the female or the woman is highly trained and able to handle herself.
How do you feel about it?
I have a mixed emotion on it, because I'm like, yes, I think they should be more sympathetic towards women, but then at the same time, we know what we're getting ourselves into, and I feel like if we gotta hold up a certain standard, so I think to make us on the same playing field as men, yes, we have to do the same thing as they do, and maybe sometimes a little bit hard to prove ourselves even more.
So here's my question now with double standard also, is by both of you guys' logic, that talk of if you see a lady doing this, then you should carry her bags and you should do this, because by your logic, what you're saying, if the double standard isn't right, so to speak, then that woman should be able to do for her, and the man shouldn't be entitled to lift the weight off of her to make things easier for her. So what is your take on that?
Well, my take on that, like you have independent women who do for them. So I mean, but at the same time, if you're dating a woman and you guys are in a stable relationship and she's going through something, that's your woman at the end of the day. That's the person that you're claiming. So being that that's the person you're claiming, it's your sole duty to ensure their happiness. And if something is bothering them that is hindering their happiness, it's your sole duty to be like, okay, what's wrong? Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but we're talking specifically on double standard. Why is it that the man is viewed down upon for not doing stuff like, you get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be equal opportunity for everybody. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So, but that's what I was leading to anyway. So, in regards to answering your question, that's just because of chivalry, and the outlook that men have in the world as it is. Because if if we're going by the Bible, man was created first, and then woman was made from him. You get what I'm saying? And being that a lot of people believe in God and stuff like that, you have to understand that outlook is already implemented in society itself. Regardless of, if that woman's just a girlfriend or whatever, it's still your sole responsibility once you claim that woman to do stuff for her. Not saying that you should go out and, rob a bank and do some murder and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But you should, care about her feelings, try to help her if she's going through a situation.
No matter how much independence that she exudes, it's like, oh, I'm independent. At the same time, a man should still go beyond.
Right. Now, if it comes to a case where the woman is like, no, I want to do this myself because I'm independent, I appreciate the thought, then you as a man I feel as though you offered, you tried to help, they said no, they want to do this by themselves. Okay, you fulfilled your duty. That's it.
See, because I'm a type of female, okay, I will do stuff on my own, and I always tell somebody, whether I'm dating them, they're my friends, whatever, I would say, The same thing you got, I could get. It may take me a little bit longer to get there, but I will still get there essentially. If I ask you, like say for instance I come to Wally and say, Wally, can you change my tire for me? I could do it myself, but I'm asking you just to do it for me. If I ask you one time and I don't see you moving to do it, I'm gonna go do it myself. I'm like, what's the point of me asking you? I'm not saying as females we should downplay our independency, because at the end of the day, men want to feel needed and wanted.
That's
so
true.
I will go to the person and like, okay, do this for me. But at the same time, if you're not gonna do it, I'm not gonna keep coming to you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times like I'm nagging you. No.
And plus, at the end of the day, technically it's easier for me to change a tire than you, because physically, that's just how it is.
Yep.
You know. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, cause I was told one time, I was like, oh, can you take my car, get washed, whatever. That's basic. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
One day I said, oh, can you take my car to get oil change, whatever, right? They're like, oh, why am I gonna come over there and do it? I'm not the one driving the car. You're driving the car. Why can't you do it? What? So you know what? Okay, fine. Bye. I don't need you, because like if I actually do something basic as changing my oil, which I could do myself, thanks to my dad. Shout out to dad. I could do myself. You mean to tell me that I'm asking you as a man to make you feel like you're needed and wanted in my book, and you're gonna be like, oh, why am I gonna come over there and do it? You're driving the car, you're doing this, you're doing that. Then what's the point? What's the point of you being a man?
True. Can't argue with that. You know, we men by nature, we feel that we need to feel needed or wanted. You know what I'm saying? The moment that we stop feeling that from you, that vibe, we go find it somewhere else. That's a fact. That is 100% fact.
Yes, and even like I even noticed, not knocking mama's boys at all. I noticed that some men are dependent on their mom and looking for their girlfriend or wife to be like their mother. Coddle them. No, I'm not gonna coddle you. You're a grown adult. You should know how to do certain things without your mom still there. Like she cut the umbilical cord has been cut a long time ago. Why are you still depending on me to treat like I'm your mother? Like I'm your mother. I'm not.
That's why I strongly believe when it comes to, I know it's like off topic, whatever, but I strongly believe you gotta teach a child independence, to do things on their own and not coddle them and because at the end of the day, that's gonna build where the child feels they always need that presence there for them to do things. So I was always against that.
And it's worse when they become adults too. Female or male, it's worse to become adults, but mostly males, because as a female, I look to you, okay, you're supposed to be the leader, per se. Providers and stuff like that. And if I look to you and be like, okay, we're facing this, what are we gonna do? And if I have to take the reins, okay, we're gonna do this because you're used to being kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. No, that's a problem. That's a problem to me. Because I didn't grow up seeing that. And it all goes back to what you are raised and your values that you were instilled in you. Because if you're instilled in like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down and play video games all day, every day, I'm just gonna wait until somebody wait and me hit the foot, that's a problem. Why do females have to come home and do everything while the men are just sitting there doing nothing? Because I notice this, I love my West Indians, but I notice in West Indian households and also Island and Caribbean households, that's what it is most of the time, especially the older generation. They don't want to do things on their own, the males. They're waiting for the wife or the girlfriend to come home to cook, clean, take care of the children, do this, do that. And some of the males look at it like, oh, I'm providing, I'm cleaning up outside the house and stuff like that. The female should do everything else. No, it should be a balance. Just as you're tired, the female's tired. And sometimes the females have more responsibility than the men. It's just that females don't complain. Well, not all, but most don't complain about it.
Listen, you said some BS just now because a lot of females complain.
I know I don't.
The ratio from females to complain and don't is very, very different.
Now, this is what I'll say with this: is I hear everything you're saying. It makes absolute sense, and yeah, I agree with it. But what I realize is when it comes to the role that a man should play, as far as chivalry and stuff like this, and open doors, that's always embraced, and it's like, yo, that's what a man should do, yada yada. But then when it goes into the role of, we're talking chivalry times, that's the role that a woman is supposed to play, it's a problem. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, how was it during the time of chivalry? When men were doing stuff for women, you know, and as a return for that, the women stay home, but, you know, clean, cook, you know, take care of the man in that aspect. So it's always promoted to do chivalry, but it's not promoted for a woman to do like stuff that it was raised that they're supposed to do, like taking care of home and cleaning and stuff like that. So it's like, why is chivalry always uplifted, but stuff like that is always downplayed?
I think things and times has changed. I'm not saying chivalry is dead, but at the same time, it all goes back onto the values we're given. Because like, I would say, okay, I'm gonna buy just whatever gives. I'm gonna do this for my man, do that for my man, but then the men don't do that in return. And it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this for you, but I don't get in return, so I'm just gonna fall back and stop doing it. Who cares? Because if you're not gonna meet me halfway, well, I'm gonna meet you halfway. You want, but what am I getting? And then it's like, it goes both ways.
Exactly. Especially, I mean, at a certain point, especially if you're a guy and you're being chivalrous and courteous to the female, at a certain point when you keep giving and you don't see any progress of returns from the other side, you stop giving. That's a fact.
And here's one thing I will say about men too is, ladies, if you have a guy that is happy and doing what he's supposed to do, and you don't meet him halfway,
exactly,
and he gets to that point where he's like, you know what, I'm doing all this and I'm not getting nothing in return, the minute that man decides I'm not doing it no more, there's no coming back. Like, it's like a switch that there's not a on, like it can only go on once. Once it's turned off, it's like the power is dead. And no matter how much you try to bring yourself back to doing that, it's never going to be the same. It's just like if you get a person who's like deep in the Bible, religion, whatever, like say like a person that found God or whatever, and you know, deep in religion. The minute that person backslides, it's 10 times harder to go back to that lifestyle. Or it's like if you've been working out, going to the gym heavy, you know, you got to that goal of getting the body you want, whatever, and then you go put on a whole bunch of weight, yada yada. It's gonna be hard for you to go back to that mentality of how you was doing, like how you did it before, to get back to that point that you was at. Because now you're like, dang, how was I doing it? How come this time it's not like you so much in your it's like hard to turn that on, that switch back on.
Once that switch is off, it is off. Like,
it's no matter how hard you try to, like, you trust me, a guy wants to, but
that cold shoulder that we gonna give you is real mean.
But okay, I have a question then. What if a female like says it and shows it? Like, okay, like I'll come out and like, oh, what size do you wear in jeans? All right, and I'll buy jeans or I'll buy whatever it gives. And a female, like, I'll go to my man and be like, you know what? I like a set of flowers, something simple, just some flowers, right? Why is it that I have to keep going to my man, keep saying, okay, I want some flowers, and he doesn't give it to me? But yes, so I keep giving him whatever gifts, and then when I stop giving him the gifts, he like, oh, you don't do this anymore. But you're not giving me one thing I asked for. You're not giving it to me. Why is that?
Well, I think that's situational. To be honest, you can't really direct that to the whole populace of men, because there's guys out here where we do the romantic stuff. We'll come see you, bring some flowers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or something, but that's a situational, and at that point you just gotta hoe. Remember I told you men was
the hoe in the
well, here's what I'll say to that. I'll say some people that's just not their thing. That's the way they're built.
Right.
So if you know that's the type of things you look for in a guy, and that guy isn't doing it, and to you that thing is important, and it's like you're wasting your time. Because you always gotta find what is your deal breaker for the person you're dealing with. So, like I said, if flowers is your thing, where you like a dude, then find a dude who occasionally like to give his woman flowers and, you know, pamper. But if that guy you meet off the, like, that's why I say relationships and stuff is a job. And when you have your worth, when you have your self-worth,
and your standards,
from the jump, when you're dating, that's the interview process. So if you sell yourself short and don't find out the things that you know you want to that person, because the closed mouth don't get fed. So if you know you want a guy that's going to give you flowers, whatever, yada yada, and you don't ask that at the interview process, you can't then, once you take the job offer, you can't then turn around and be like, yo, what's up with my flowers? They're like, I didn't know you like flowers like that. Now, some guys will occasionally be like, you know, okay, I'm going to do it to try and, you know, make you happy, whatever. But you do have people where it's like, that's not my thing. I'm not used to doing that. So it's like, yo, if that's not your thing, then you're not compatible for me. Because what people may find is a small thing is a deal breaker to somebody else. I always say that.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Right. That's a fact. But you know what, guys? Huge deal breaker. You gotta know how to cook. Even if it's some fried eggs, some pancakes, something. Yes. You gotta know how to cook.
Yes.
No woman wants a man that can't cook one time in their life for them.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
For yourself.
You want them drawers off? Make some scrambled eggs and bacon, some cheesy grits. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But y'all gotta know how to cook one dish at least in your life.
That's true.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a major.
You want your woman to stay with you? One dish in your life. That's all you need.
Yes, that's a major turn off.
Speaking on the subject of, wait, what the hell's the name of the freaking topic again? I always get muffled with the damn words. Like, serious.
Double standards.
Yes. So, speaking on double standards, do you feel like your questions got answered, or is there anything that you want to touch up?
There've been some. Most of the questions been answered. But I like the way Ray put it. You got the hoes.
you got the hoes
and got the men.
Yeah. You got the men. That's it. It's two separate categories.
Which is true. Like you try to. The one thing I know people in general, male and female, try to turn the hoes into house husbands and housewives. That's really hard to happen. That's
another show for like that I want to speak on, as far as like those type of things. You know, like I said, the whole thing about valuing yourself, so to speak. That's another topic that I want to get into. Like the whole you got people, significant other, where they want to text where you at, or they always need validation. That's gonna be a topic we're gonna.
But then at the same time, you're gonna say you're not down for that. But then if something happened in the relationship that broke that trust, then you're gonna.
No, because we're not even talking about that aspect of it.
Just in general.
Just in general. But what I'm saying, if I text you one time and be like, "Here, this is where I'm at, point A," don't hit me up like a few minutes later. Like, if I tell you I'm here, this is where I'm at. Until I say otherwise.
Yeah, because I feel like that. Like, if I say, like you said, if you say I'm here, but at least say, you know what, I'm gonna be up the boys, I'm gonna be up the girls, and that's it. You don't gotta tell me, okay, I'm going from here to there to Mount Sinai and all that. Yeah. You don't gotta tell me all that. Just say, like, you know what, I'm going up the boys tonight. All right, cool, have fun, enjoy yourself. You know, behave yourself, respect whatever we have.
Yeah. So as y'all see, that's gonna be a nice. Spicy topic. So,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
So that's gonna be it for this episode, and I hope you guys learned a couple of things. Took some things out of it, whatever. So this way you could incorporate it into your own personal life. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. I'd like to say thank you to Nicole for being on here today.
You're welcome.
And of course, course, you got Ray, aka Lil Pharrell.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Y'all gotta remember what I said now.
Oh, snap, he does.
One dish is all you need to keep your woman. Just one. You don't gotta be a head chef or nothing. Just one dish.
And be emotional for your female. You know?
Right.
You like when somebody crying, us, you know.
Yeah, they like when you cry on the titties. Especially the left titty. The left titty is where it's at.
Man, you've been taught that as a baby, so it is what it is. All right, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Time for me to hold it down. Time for me to break it down. Y'all cats don't wanna see me. Y'all better mind your